Good evening, everyone. Welcome to December's executive meeting. For the guests amongst us, we're not planning a fire alarm, but if there is one, then follow members of staff. There is ways out, 5 points here, Roy, and over here as well. So if we need to use them, obviously, we'll take instructions from the relevant fire wardens. We seem to have lost the screens up above us. Do we know why? Okay, so if anybody's raising a hand or jumping up and down or doing a hokey cokey, can you let me know, yeah? Okay. Just interrupt at the relevant point, please, James, yeah? Okay. So, sorry to you on the screen. We can't see you, but James can, and will keep us... Sorry, I'm having a word. Sorry, I'm having a word issue. Miss Willis is dealing with it. Excellent, thank you. It will keep us posted. Okay, so minutes... if we go to the agenda, apologies for absence. I think we're all here, so we can bypass that one. Minutes of last meeting held on the 18th of November. Any issues or concerns with those? Anybody? No? I shall sign those then. Anybody on the screen got issues? No? Okay. So I shall just do that one here now. Thank you. Declarations of interest. We just noted the fact that we have one this evening that relates to council tax. So obviously we're all council taxpayers and we may or may not get relevant discounts as per the application of the policy. However, there are no special cases as far as we're aware of. So just for transparency, that's a general application of an interest there. Any other interests from members related to tonight's agenda? No, I think we're all good on that. Okay, so we'll move on then. Oh, we've got you back on screen, super duper. Public question time. Are we aware of any questions from the public? Nope. Okay. Questions from members. Any questions? Councillor Rowlands shot up. So it's over to you, Councillor Rowlands. Just 1 second while we sort the IT out, people.
Thank you. In view of the creation of nearly 60,000 new houses in the centre of the town in the near future, will the council be following my letter to the Minister of Defence to make adjacent land at the RMA available for adequate open space restaurant recreation for the new development, bearing in mind that the...
Could I just clarify which development are you talking about? And the number you quoted was particularly high. I think you said 60,000, which would probably freak out most of the, almost 2/3 of the residents of Surrey Heath. So which specific one are you talking about?
I'm talking about the town centre development that's about to take place, which is creating, what, 6,000, is it?
Which development's about to take place? Sorry, Councillor Rowlands.
The new town.
So I'm not aware of any new build. I know we have aspirations to build, but I'm not aware of any development of significant scale that's been signed off. Maybe if anybody else... No. So there's an aspiration to build in the town centre, and I think it was in the local plan 550 on the London road block. But there's no concrete, no pun intended, no concrete proposal in front of us or developers at the moment.
So I'm talking about the overall population of St Michael's, where there is one relatively small town park now available for restaurant recreation, But with this addition, it does highlight the fact there's a need for more open spaces and a desperate need to talk to the Ministry of Defence for making, when I was last on the council, there was reasonable access to the RMA. Now it's just once a year. I think we should be talking to them about making more space available, and really, do they need that amount of space for what they appear to be doing at the moment?
Okay, so thank you, Councillor Rowan. So just to bring this one to a close, so when a proposal comes forward, it will have to go through the normal amenity spaces. So I think we need to let that process run and see where it lands. I think we're all aware that over the years security increased at the Royal Military Academy, and therefore there is the, as you said, the limited access. But there are other green spaces available to people, including Camberley Park at the back of here. So your point is noted, but we don't have a firm proposal in front of us. We haven't got anything through, well, nobody's got anything through planning yet, so we need to let the processes run their course. Thank you. Any other questions from members? No? Okay, we've got off lightly. Well done, us. Right, must be the Christmas festive season of goodwill. Okay, if we move on to item 6, so this is local government reorganisation. So this one's with me. So as part of my role and portfolio, I represent the council in the Surrey Leaders and other conversations, along with the support of the Chief Executive, who has also been involved in a number of the conversations about how we progress the government's intention, as it stated, I think 28th of October, to move to 2 unitary councils. It was agreed between the monitoring officers initially that it would be helpful to document in terms of reference for the joint committees that would be formed, in our case West Surrey, and for a number of other enabling actions to be taken at each council to allow local government reorganisation to proceed in good order, in line with the government's intention, but also to note the fact that there will be the requirement for certain things to happen as soon as the legally binding structural change order comes into play in March next year. Now, using the attributes of the Section 106 of the Local Government Act 1972, there is the intention to effectively formalise the same as would happen in March, but an earlier date, so that we ensure there's member oversight of the officer-led implementation team, and that the residents of Surrey Heath and the other boroughs, and indeed the county as well, county members can be represented in those forums in an appropriate way. So that is the basis of this recommendation that relates to basically all the enabling things to make LGR work. As I say, it's been worked on jointly by the MOs, with review from the chief executives, and is broadly the same approach being taken in all the districts and boroughs and county, albeit they have their slight nuances due to the different requirements of their constitution, etc., etc. So, happy to take any questions on it, but before we do that, it's probably worthy of note that within this is also the budgetary, two additional things at least to add. One is the budgetary aspect is placed before us here. Now this is based on the submission that was made by county and its collaborators in the 2 unitary proposal, of a total sum of 35 million for the implementation at this stage of the process. There is a split, as members and others will be aware from the papers, 80-20 between the county and the districts and boroughs, and then we have a proportionate share of that. So that's one thing to note. The second thing to note in that regard is that, and it links to some of our discussions at this place around the need for property disposals where it was appropriate. is that this will be paid for by capital receipts, so there will be no impact on the revenue side of the budget, which is important to maintain essential and valued services for residents. So that's an important thing of relevance. And I think the third thing to note is, and this is a little bit embarrassing for me, is there has to be a recommendation from this to go forward for the nominees. So I need to put to my executive colleagues that you nominate myself and nominate Councillor Ashby as deputy. That's a formal step that we need to go through here today. Those aspects of this will also proceed to council. Councillor Ashby also has, I'll call it a joker card, to sub in for other members of the county council, linked to the fact that there are a number of Liberal Democrat members that have been nominated to be part of the county council group that will be on the joint committee, because it's 6 county councillors and 6 district and borough representatives. So if you followed all of that and you've read the papers, any questions, and the Chief Executive will be happy to help if there's anything I have missed. Thank you. Gosh, stunned silence. Are we sure? Okay. Very good. Okay, so in that case, we'll move forward to the recommendation as it stands. Are we happy to recommend to full council as documented?
Agreed.
Agreed. Thank you. Thank you for your support. We move on then to council tax setting and review of the local council tax support scheme. And I think it's Councillor McIntyre.
Thank you, Leader. See if I can beat your no questions. Right, so annual council tax base setting, which is based on the number of Band D properties in the borough. That's been calculated to be just over 40,000 at 40,473.6. Also in the paper is confirmation of the local council tax support scheme, which will be going up 5% in line with the council tax increase. That costs us around about 3,500 per annum. We're not proposing any changes to the reliefs that are set out within that we have today, and there are, of which the biggest one is 10,000 properties, or just over 10,000 properties that have single person discount applied to them. As everyone will have read the paper, any questions?
Any questions? Councillor Rowlands, please.
Yes, I was just wondering about the possibility, bearing our straitened economic circumstances, of a visitors' tax, whether that might be seriously looked at as one of the new developments. Is that being looked at as a possibility?
Which flats were those, sorry, Councillor Owens? Oh. I think this is actually one we've talked about in the past when we've been looking at the annual budget setting, but it doesn't relate to council tax base setting. So it is something that we have considered, and I can't remember quite why that came out, but we don't have the powers yet.
Yeah, so Councillor Rowlands, my understanding is that that's a power that will be given to the mayoral authorities. We don't have that power at the moment. We did investigate it in the past. We don't have that power to do that, and because we won't have a mayor in place in the near future, we won't be able to do it either. So, like your entrepreneurial thinking, but unfortunately we can't do it. Hopefully that's okay, Councillor McIntyre. Any other questions? Councillor Rice.
It may be a declaration because I noted the declaration that we made earlier, and I note within the support scheme of the single person's discount, I am a recipient of that. So I'm just wondering if I need to declare that as an interest, or would that be covered by the general declaration of interest that would be covered under council tax?
We were trying to cover that off in the general interest, but Councillor McIntyre, do you want to add in, see if we're complete?
We had that conversation earlier because I'm also in receipt of that. and wanted to declare it, but we decided on a blanket declaration for everybody. But now we've both done it anyway.
Okay. Any other questions from anybody? No. So maybe just to note that the officers and I have had a dialogue through the day around, hang on, what is it now? Is it, yeah, trying to find the relevant page. Is it this one? It is this one, I think.
Page 22.
Page 22, thank you. I'm ahead of myself. Yeah, we just had a little bit of a discussion around the LCTSS, which is the Local Council Tax Support Scheme. Slips off the tongue, that one. Just around the background, the bans and how we've been escalating them through time. It appears that we have been keeping pace broadly with inflation in doing that, and obviously that is helpful to our residents that might be at the bottom end of the economic spectrum or have other challenges within their that they have to support with their income. So the thinking is that going forward we do that in a more consistent way and link it directly to the council tax increase. So the officers are supportive of that. That means we just keep in step all the time with what's happening to council tax, and we move the top of the bands in line with that. So we won't change the resolution, but perhaps we could note it in the minutes that was a commitment that we would do going forward. Seems to be sensible housekeeping rather than bounce around all over the place. Okay, there are no other questions. So are we happy with the resolution as it stands? Agreed. Thank you. Discretionary business relief policy. Item 8 is also with Councillor McIntyre.
It's got to that time of the year. Right, so discretionary rate relief. There's quite a lot of detail in here, so I'm just going to refer to the paragraphs for people. This relates to the various businesses as defined in paragraphs 1.1 and 1.2, whereby we can apply a discretionary rate relief. 1.4 sets out whether relief may be granted and the reasons we may or may not look at something. Obviously, the council has a duty to ensure that our council taxpayers in the borough don't have to carry on an unfair burden. So when we are reviewing the discretionary reliefs to apply, that has to be taken into consideration. But otherwise, we do seek to support businesses that fall within this policy.
Thank you. Any questions on this one from anyone? No, I just got one small one. I wasn't sure from the write-up whether this was a new policy or an update. I think it's a new policy, but could I just have that confirmed?
It's an existing policy, but it hasn't been approved by the executive in the past, so this is just pushing it through that process.
Thank you. I knew there was something about it. So this is a current policy that's been updated, but actually is coming to the executive for approval. So then we'll have a, should we say, a stronger force in terms of implementation. Yeah. Okay. Good. Sorry. And transparency. Yeah. For exactly that. Thank you for residents and businesses particularly. Okay. So if there are no questions, no. Okay. Then if we're happy with the recommendation, happy to approve? Agreed. Agreed. Okay. Right. Antisocial behaviour help pledge. That's with you, Councillor Ashburn.
Thank you very much. So ASB Help is a registered charity in England and Wales set up to provide advice and support to victims of antisocial behaviour. The pledge is a scheme whereby applicants to join the pledge are advised and then audited on best practice management of antisocial behaviour case reviews. Signing up to this pledge would show the commitment that this council has towards victims of antisocial behaviour. It will increase trust and confidence amongst victims that the council is demonstrating best practice, and it will show positive recognition that Surrey Heath Borough Council is an organisation that values victim support. Our partner organisation in this, Surrey Police, have already signed up to the pledge, and I feel that it is appropriate for our organisation to do so as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Ashbury. Before we go on to debate this one, could I just thank Ms White and Mr Preston for their work on the previous two reports. It's much appreciated, and you also made the effort to come in, and we didn't ask you 1,000 questions, so I'm really sorry about that. We'll try harder next time, but it shows what the quality was that we didn't ask any questions. Yeah, you can take that. But yeah, thank you for items 7 and 8, much appreciated. But moving back to the anti-social behaviour help pledge, any questions from anybody on that one? Gosh, quiet audience tonight. First, I'd like to thank Ms Greenfield for bringing this to my attention initially, and then obviously Councillor, well, maybe it was your attention initially, but for bringing it to our attention. It seems like a very appropriate thing to do for our residents, that they have the opportunity to raise concerns in this way, and we support them in that. Nobody should be a victim of antisocial behaviour, and not repeatedly so, and they should expect the support of the agencies to work through and review, can they do better, which is really what this is all about. So very supportive of this one. So thank you to Ms Greenfield for bringing this forward so quickly, because it was a bit just in time, but these good things are worth doing quickly when required. I see Mr Bartlett's in there, so perhaps he can thank her for us. If there's no questions, then we will move to the resolution. Are we happy with the resolution as it stands?
Agreed.
Agreed. Okay. I feel like I've missed items out here. Are we? No? Okay. We're following the Eastleigh format today, are we? Okay. Maintenance contractor. Cal, over to you.
The purpose of this paper is neatly summarised in the first two paragraphs, which I'm sure you've all read. I would, however, emphasise that the estimated cost stated in the recommendation won't be a fixed amount. There will be a call-off contract with some fixed services, but the bulk of the anticipated expenditure will be for repairs and maintenance of varying types as and when planned and required. As section 1.8 of this report states, the current budget for these works is significantly lower than the amount in the recommendation. This proposal is recommended for approval.
Any questions on this one? Councillor Rowlands, please.
I must admit I'm a little concerned about this item, because it seems to be sweeping a great amount of protracted activity into one really generalised minute. So we're told that the council at the moment has a plethora of minor contractors carrying out this work, and the proposal is to take it all into one, make it available to one principal contractor. It's probably I feel there's a sort of slight doubt of giving one particular organisation, contractor, complete operation for quite a wide range of council activities, and to some extent being in hock to that organisation. However big the organisation is, I'm sure it is going to be carrying out subcontracting activities themselves, which may end up, in fact, with the type of smaller operation that already exists. But it seems to me the minute it's written in such a degree of generality, it really doesn't go into the detail of what is in quite an important development. And I, for one, would like to know a lot more information about this. I don't feel there's an automatic belief that one particular organisation, Amy or whoever, end up with taking on the contract, is going to be answer all the queries that we've had previously. And there may be a downside associated with one particular large contractor carrying out these activities. It's just a ill-informed layman's view, but that's just some of the things that are raised in my mind by this particular minute. Thank you, Chair.
Well, thank you, Councillor Rowlands. I mean, just to reconfirm, the scope of this is just the operational and other non-commercial properties that the council owns. So it's mainly this building, the multi-storey car parks, the theatre, and some other smaller ones. But Mr. Burgess, I see you're online. Would you like to try and give Councillor Rowlands some reassurances to the contracting approach taken here?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Excuse me. It's I guess the thing I can say about this is it's a fairly typical arrangement for councils to have this sort of contract in place. It provides a degree of certainty and a degree of depth to an operation that lots of smaller contractors don't typically provide. But there's no escaping the fact that one of the other prime drivers for this arrangement is to reduce our need for lengthy procurement activities. That's one of the, it's a big drain on resources doing procurement for lots of individual contracts. So it makes it damn so easy to operate with a single contractor in place.
And it also, I think, probably gives us some resilience as well, doesn't it? They're not relying on one person.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions from anybody? No? Okay. Are we happy with the resolution as it stands? Agreed. Okay. I think that's it for this evening. I think we'll see the councillors and maybe a few others here next week for full council on Wednesday.